All right, so before I get into displaying all of my data, I want to have a quick discussion about images. So the standard way, let's say I wanted to show all of these images. Let's say cards.map, and we're going to take that card, which is of type MTG card, and we're going to map it to an image. So we'll say img src equals, and then the image source is going to be card.image, just like that. And we also need a key prop here. Whenever we're mapping to a component, we're going to add the iterator as the second property here in this handler function. So this is the index or iterator that's going through each card. So it'll be 0 for the first, 1 for the second, 2 for the third, so on and so forth. So it guarantees that it's going to be unique. So we add the key property there. And then when we save this, whoops, not save that, save this, it's going to show every single card here. Now, the way this loads, it actually loads pretty quick, actually very impressive. However, let's try doing it with, so I'm going to set the width. Can I just set width here? Width 50. There we go. It actually loads them quite well. I wasn't expecting that. Let me try hard refresh. There we go. All right, you see how it loads kind of crazy? It loads them all random. Do that again. So, you know, it's loading. Each time it loads, it has to make a new request, especially when I hard refresh. So if I go over to network, you're going to see that all these requests are being sent to that external source every single time for each card. And it's just a massive amount of requests. If I just do a normal refresh, it does it again. Yeah, status 200, which means it's actually sending the request. It's not using a cached request. Yeah, it's the normal image is not optimal for what we're trying to do. So what we want to do instead, now actually another thing we can see, it actually does use good placeholders, which is nice. It's able to placehold them correctly. Does it? Hold on, let me look. No, it's pushing them down. You can see that it's not holding their position. This will be more apparent if I do something like style equals margin 10 or something like that. Like that. Now there's a margin. Now if I refresh it, you can see they kind of sometimes push each other. I don't know if that made it better or worse to demonstrate. Looks like they are holding their space. I think the margin might be actually not helping at all. Let's get rid of the margin. And maybe, yeah, maybe if we increase this to 100, it might kind of push a little bit more. I don't know. I don't know if that's showing it better or worse. Okay, let's try this. We're going to try like 10 pixels. It looks like it's holding their position actually pretty decently. Well, anyway, it's not loading them in the correct order. It's not loading them as needed. So if we were to go like, you know, width equals 100, well, when it loads it, it's not loading the resources as they're needed. You can see that it's just loading them in order from top down, and some take longer, some take less time. So it's not optimal loading. So what we want to use instead is the image tag that comes with Next.js. It's a custom component, import image from next image. And that's this component here. Now, it actually has a lot more setup. So when I do this, when I just do image, first of all, it wants alt text. So if I do this, it's going to say property alt is missing. So we need alt text, which is basically what you would see when you mouse over. And we'll just use the card and name as the alt text. That's fine. So when it's trying to load, that'll be the placeholder. The other thing it actually wants, let me try opening this in a new tab. What are the dimensions here? I wish it would tell me the dimensions. Does it tell me? I don't think it tells me here. Yeah, it doesn't tell me the dimensions. Hold on, I might have to save this to see the dimensions. Okay, let's see. File info. Okay. 672 by 936. Let's calculate that out. So the height to width ratio, 936 divided by 672. It's like 1.39 height to width ratio. So that means if I have a width of 100, then my height should be 139. Okay. Does that all work for everyone? Let's see. Okay, so we still have one more issue here, and it's that we don't have the host name. It's not configured in our next config.js. So we need the alt, we need the width, we need the height, and we need to add it to our next config.js. We need to add the host. So if I go over to next config, here I can add that host. We say images, remote patterns. It has to be remote patterns. Local patterns are for local files. Remote patterns are for external files. And then we have an array here, and then inside the array, because you might have more than one that you're using. We don't have to use all of these. In fact, we won't. We're just going to use the host name, which for our image, the host name is this right here. Just this part right here, cards scribefile.io. There we go. So if I add that here, now if I go back, I'm hoping that resolves the issue. Although, yeah, you see, so what's happening now is as I scroll down, it's loading them as they're needed. So it's not loading them all at once. So let's look at the network traffic here. If I do a control F5, it's loading them. Look at this though. It's actually loading them not from the external source, but local. So it's loading them locally, which means it's essentially caching it. So it's not sending a new request. And then if I scroll down, see, it only loads all of these images. If I scroll down, it starts loading more. It's loading more of those images in. So this is called lazy loading. It's just loading as it's needed, which is so much smarter. So much smarter. And it's caching the image as well. So two benefits there. It's caching the image. Even if I hard refresh, the image is cached. So it's taking no time because it's cached and it's just available. And also, so we're lazy loading and we're caching the images. So I think there's some other benefits as well. Those are the two main ones that I always think about though. But that's awesome.